Today I'm going to be doing some textile painting, so I thought I would show my process a bit. I'm going to be painting on this fabric square. I cut a bunch of these out of an old fitted sheet that I had that was a bit like falling apart, so I salvaged some pieces that I could and cut them into the dimensions of a bandana, and then I decided I would do some painting on them with textile paint. I use jacquard textile paint. This is ruby red. I have an example of one that I've already painted. So the process is pretty straightforward. I have some paintbrushes, I have some water, a rag, a little palette that I'm gonna put the paint on. I'm only using the one color. I think I cut like 4 or 5 of this fabric, so I'm gonna make 4 or 5 bandanas, and in my mind these would be a fun, easy project to make leading up to Valentine's Day. If you can see, this one has a lot of hearts. That was the jumping off point for me. I wanted to make something that would be a bit more affordable in my shop, and then of course as I made it I realized it actually took a lot longer than I anticipated, so I'm not really sure what the price range is going to be for these, but that was my intention and that's how the idea got started in my head. That's what I'm up to. I have a notebook with a list of motifs that I'd like to draw. Some of them I'm just going to draw off the cuff or off the top of my head without looking at any kind of reference image, and then some of them I'll grab my laptop from upstairs, because sometimes if I have like horses written down in my journal as like a motif I want to do, I personally cannot draw that off the top of my head. I need to see an inspiration image or a reference image to do that, so I'll have a little bit of both. What's cool about this paint is you can just paint directly onto the fabric, and then to set it once it's dry, you just have to iron it. When I ironed this, I put a fabric on top and then I ironed them together, but the heat was on pretty high, so it still set the paint. And I do plan on washing these before putting them in my shop just to make sure that the paint set all right. So I'm going to be working at the kitchen table. I do need to take a break in about an hour to walk my friend's dog, and then I'm just going to spend the afternoon doing painting. This one took me 2 afternoons and I still have to hem it. There will be a bit of sewing left to do, like I have to stitch this raw edge down, so it's not completely done, but you get the idea. And it could be a little hair bandana, or it could be a bandana worn around your neck. I like to wear bandanas that way when we go hiking. I'm gonna go get my lists of motifs and my journal, because I also have some drawings that I might replicate on here, and I'll grab my laptop too. I'd just like to say I did iron this. I ironed this maybe last week, but this has also been sitting around our kitchen living room area because I started this project and then figured I would do all 5 bandanas in a row, but of course I get distracted and do other projects, so these have been kind of sitting around and got wrinkly again, but it's not so wrinkly that I can't paint on them. This is paint from the previous bandana, but it is dry. It does kind of bleed through the fabric if it goes on heavy. I have some brushes. I like using the really tiny ones, but I do have a slightly larger one just to fill in. For example, I filled in the whole butterfly with red paint, so it's easier to have a slightly larger brush. And these are all synthetic brushes, I think. This is a little yogurt lid that I put my paint on. I don't want to use too much since I'm gonna have to run out at 12. And I also have a little yogurt container that you can see has been stained with paint, but yeah, this will just be for washing my brushes. Water for me to drink. And I have a little cut up t-shirt for drying off my brush. Here are my notebooks. So I know this one's got a list, I believe. Yeah, here's my big list of motifs that I want to work on. So I'm probably just gonna go through here, pick certain things and draw them out on the bandana using the paint, or kind of go off the top of my head and think about what I want to put on here. I'm probably gonna start with some kind of heart, so I'll put this off to the side, but I also might see if I have any drawings I want to incorporate. This is my glove drawing. I have little pages like this that would be good to replicate on here. And this one also has a lot of drawings in it. This has more quilt drawings in here, but I might want to do motifs like this. So I'll keep this off to the side also if I want to get some ideas. Oh, something I always do, and I'm about to do it now. I always have the tendency to work from the lower right-hand corner out, which is like the opposite of what I should be doing. You're supposed to work from left to right, up to down, or else you drag the paint, you know, as you work. I'm gonna correct myself. Back into here so that it doesn't dry out and I don't waste it, because I have to walk Loretta and I want to eat lunch before I go out, and I need to kind of prepare myself for the harsh winter weather with some layers. I think I got maybe just less than half of the bandana done. Doing mostly larger motifs, so I want to mix it up and add some smaller drawings, but I'll show you what I've done so far. Couple hearts, a fish, a flower, a butterfly moth kind of creature, a shell, little flowers, and a star. So I just have to do this top part and the right side, and I'll do that when I get back from walking Loretta. You gonna let me put your harness on? You playing the banjo?